everybody. How are you? I, as the African Queen of Peace, I'm gonna speak about how to protect yourself from scammers. There are so many scammers who've been stealing money from Facebook people, and then from particularly from Instagram, and then from other internet apps and all of that, even on the phone. So can I let this continue? No, especially so many people in Africa have been scammed, and then some other in the Western country and around the world have been scammed. What can we do to stop this scammer? I hope my video will help you all people around the world, and it will help you all my African. Yes? Okay, I'm gonna start on the true preachers of the churches who've been scammed by those scammers. Yes? And then later on I will move on the on the readers of the world, and then later on I will continue moving on about faster that thing scammer, and then more over, Okay, I'm gonna start it. There are so many scammers who create a Facebook account and Instagram account and call themselves that they are preachers of God, that they are bishop, pastors, that they are prophet, like that. And then create a Facebook account or Instagram account, and then send through preachers, of the churches from around the world. They send them friend request. When they send friend request to them, then they started those scammers or those false prophet scammers. They started asking donation for those pastors, for those true preachers of God around the world. And then they started saying, many of them, they start saying, I have orphans in Kenya, or I have orphans in Nigeria, or I have orphans, in Ghana, or in India, or in Arab countries, some other countries, I'm looking after with. They have no food, they have no, they are very hungry. So can you donate me? Please, can you donate me $200 or 50, or that would be help if you can help me. And then your heart, when you hear that, because you have the kindness for help, you might just send money to people. That scammers, they haven't told you only one person. They have sending message, asking donation, asking those money to steal many thousand preachers all over the world. You see, so because of your kindness, of your heart of helping, you will just go and then say, okay, yeah, let me help these people, and then let me help orphans. You will send your money, and then once you send your money, you might think you've been sending money for orphans, to help orphans, but you don't know that you have given your money to scammers. You don't know that you have been given money to scammers. So many people, so many scammers, they go and then started to do their own business by looking after the orphans, and then they will come and write to you and then say, can you send us money so we can look after the orphans, all of this. When you send that money cannot be given to, they don't give them to the orphans. Then those scammers, the first prophet or the other scammers, they will start eating that money, and then orphans will start to be hungry. They will never get the help you've been offering them, all of you. Do you know this? So be very careful with those scammers, with those false prophet scammers. Please be very careful. Yes, if you need to help somebody, make sure you help a person who you have met face to face, who many years. Or if you need to help those orphans or like that, please ring the country government, ring the president or the government of that country, of that man. The government knows where are the orphans. Then you can go and give that donation to the government or to the president, and then that donation can be given to the orphans. Or you can send your minister of the church into that country, to go and then look after those orphans, and then you can always send a donation to that person. That's the good way you can do. But don't believe in what other people are telling you, because so many scammers have been, scammed so many preachers and so many people around the world by saying they look after the orphans or all that, but they just need this, they are stealing money from you, they are lying you. Or even they are really, some of them, they are just thieves. They just, you just send them money. They just they just keep the money themselves, and become rich themselves, and they don't give that money to the need to the orphans. So please, is this really helpful for you? Yes. Another thing, I remember one false prophet who called himself Zachary Ernest from Ghana. One day, he sent friend request to me, and sent friend request to other people around the world. He called himself and started ministry into one of Australian Navy Forces Chief General of the Army Forces of Australia, who name is Minister Steve Grimo. And I say it is his father, it is his minister, who started, who started his church, And then he been creating, Australia Minister Stephen Grimo, Army Forces Chief, that, in his name, Stephen Grimo, and then use his photos, and then started sending requests to many preachers all around the world, and then started asking the money, and then say I am Minister Stephen Grimo from Australian Armed Forces. I started the work of God. This. Please, if you can give this money to my son Zachary Ernest, who is the scammer, it will be good if you can give the donation. It will help for my minister. It is not Stephen. It is not Minister Stephen Grimo who been started the minister. Minister Stephen Grimo, the Navy Chief of Army Forces of Australia, he haven't started any minister or any churches yet, anything yet, or any minister. No, it is a scam. It is a Zachary Ernest from Ghana who been using the Facebook name and then open account in Facebook and all that, Instagram and on the WhatsApp, all that, call himself, Stephen Grimo. That is he work with Stephen Grimo. That you can, many people, preachers, they can give money to him, all of this, stealing the money of people from around the world in the name of the Chief of the Army Navy Forces of from Australia, Mr. Stephen Grimo. You understand? He even that scammer Zachary Ernest, he even sent the friend request to other women and start saying, I really love you, I want you, and then later on when he starts sending friend requests to them, like he say, I wish I'm not already so I can get married to you, all of this. And then he will start asking you money, asking women money. And then you might say, oh, you have to might feel good. Oh, I have found, a minister, Navy Army Forces of Australia, or I'm going to get married to Navy Army Forces of Australia. Will be, my life will be changed. You have to rejoice. But later on, you will be crying. Later on, that Zachary is coming from Ghana. He will start to, he will start to ask you money in the name of the Stephen Grimo, and then later on you will give it to him, and then he will eat it and you think you giving it to Minister Grimo, but it is not Minister Grimo, Stephen Grimo, the Navy Armed Forces of Australia, who been asking you that money. Stephen Grimo, Minister Stephen Grimo, he will never ask any money to anybody, and then he have never started any minister. So then can you hear it? If you refuse to give it, that is scammer money, the Zachary Ernest money, him who been creating, the FB Minister Stephen Grimo, the Chief of the Army Force of Australia, then Zachary Ernest will angry at you. He will be angry at you, or because he opened the Facebook name in the Minister Stephen Grimo, the Chief of Navy Army Force of Australia, he will just send you message and they say, no man will get married to you. You are a very terrible person. They will say bad to you. Many scammers that will say bad word to you after you refuse giving them money. So can you hear it? One day, this is a career Ernest, who been creating the Facebook account into Minister Stephen Girimo. One day he write other preachers from around the world by saying, please, I go to, Madagascar, they need drums, they need big drums, and please, I went to Congo, and then I need the big drums of the church, and then I have to buy it and send it. So can you donate 1,000, and then can you donate 3,000 to send these drums to that churches, please? And then many people have been, scammed their money by that scammer from Ghana, Zachariah Ernest, who been creating the name of the Facebook name into Minister Stephen Girimo, the Navy Army Forces, chief of the Navy Army Forces from Australia, and then I think it is Stephen Girimo when it is not, when it is Zachariah Ernest. Even he uses his Stephen Girimo's photo, Minister Stephen Girimo's photo, and then they send money to him, and then think it is, he's been sending that drums when it is not, him, when he's just lying you people, so you can send that money to him, and then eat all your money. Can you hear the many things what they do? How they steal money from people? Those false prophets, scammers, and all of that, who call themselves bishop, askof, and all prophet, all of this, when they're naughty, when they're just stealing money from all over the world. They haven't tell you this, only one of you. They have saying so many million from all over around the world. So please be careful with those scammers. Please. Do not give money to a person who you don't know. It is against the law. Many Australian government and many Western government, they have said this. Do not give money to people who you don't know, who you haven't known many years, who you haven't even see face to face. Do you get me? Yes or no? You will hear the scammers who call themselves, true preachers, sorry, they are not, when they are not true preachers, because the true preachers cannot steal money, but they call themselves bishop, prophet, all of that, pastor, and then all of that. They start saying, we have been starting building the church, and then our church needs donation. Can you please, send us money so we can build this church and then finish our church? They will go and then take a photo of another church or another building or another people, and then they will send it to you or put on their Facebook and say, this is our church we are building, this is the house that we are building, so we need the donation, we need the money to finish this church. And then you will think you are sending money to finish that church, but you don't know that you are sending that money to a scammer. You don't know that scammer have been, he have been, taking a photo or video of another church and call himself it is his church, it is his ministry, when it is not his ministry, when it is not his church, when it is just, to steal money from you guys. He doesn't do this by some of them, some scammers, they do this themselves, some other, they just do as a group. And then they do send messages on the Facebook, Instagram, and or even contacting even on the WhatsApp, and then asking money for true preachers and even some other government workers and other people all over around the world. They don't ask you on one person. So please be careful with these scammers. False prophet scammers and scammers who created them, the Facebook account, Instagram account, and the other account, and call themselves bishop, pastor, prophet when they are naughty, when they are scammers, and they want to use many different ways to try you and then steal money. Okay, I will speak other more things in the next video. Merci beaucoup. Queen wa Amani Africa, Deus va se benezer. Merci.